Alright, here's another, this will be another impromptu if you wish. Not a whole lot of planning has gone into this video, just some ideas and thoughts that I wanted to convey in reference to firearms training and handgun in particular. And this particular clip is going to be about just talking about this holster. What I want to get across is that when you have a holster with a lot of retention devices, and actually when you have any type of a holster at all, you want to practice, you want to train, you want to draw your weapon as frequent and as often as possible, always keeping safety first, to make that as a most natural skill as possible. This particular holster that I was explained is I believe it's a Firearms brand, but regardless of the brand, what have you, I like it. It provides a high level of security. I've removed my uniform shirt here, so I'm not representing any department. However, when I am working, I do like this holster because if I'm fingerprinting somebody, if I'm having to react in an unarmed manner when dealing with somebody, this holster is extremely secure. There's several devices that you must go through in order to remove this firearm. Granted, there are folks out there in prisons and just people who train and that want to do harm to others, and there are people out there that know how to disarm this holster very quickly, very effectively from say, trained law enforcement professional or anyone else, any good guy, whether it be a CHL holder or a security officer or just a private citizen that's lawfully carrying a holster. There are folks out there that know you're armed, they do train, and they are able to take that weapon from a person relatively easy. So that's where the training comes into play, and you've got to be able to counter them. In the future, hopefully I can do some videos on some weapon retention, possibly using a partner. But getting back to this, the point I was making was, even though this pistol, this holster is extremely secure, extremely safe, there are no 100% absolutes, so I can't rely on it, that they're not going to take it from me. But since it is so hard to get this pistol out of here, it does give me a chance to try to secure my weapon and take other action. So it does give you a level of security. There are basically, I'm going to say, 3 retention devices here in this holster. One is this thumb strap. You've got to be pushed down and forward. 2 is a button behind at the back of the holster that must be pushed in. 3rd, the weapon must be rocked back. Without those 3 things in place, this firearm will not come out of this holster. So again, the thumb strap has to be pushed down and forward. The button behind the holster here must be depressed. The firearm must be rocked back, and then I rock it up in order to draw it from the holster. This is called a weapon retention type posture. I say type because you can have different methods of a weapon retention stance. But essentially right here, I have drawn the weapon, and as quickly as possible, have hopefully started covering the threat that I can deal with by instead of trying to draw it and keeping it down and coming up here, I'm going to draw this and immediately come up on target. Even if I'm not looking at it, I can feel what target is, especially in close range if somebody were enclosing or closing the distance on me. You can punch out here if you need to, depending on the situation. But you can see this pistol is relatively hard to get out of this holster, so that's why one must practice with it over and over and over again. A good drill that I might think about doing here would be to try to draw this pistol out and be ready to receive a threat from any of the 8 zones that surround me. Here be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 behind me. I'd be standing in the middle, kind of in the number 9 zone area when looking at the zones from that angle. But anyways, Granted, there are several different weapon retention postures a person can assume, but what's good is that you want to practice drawing this pistol from a couple of different postures. One would be to be just standing around, oh no, I have a threat, and you draw my pistol. The second one maybe you're in an interview stance, you're talking to somebody in this manner, and you're going to practice drawing out from this stance right here. Okay, so, I have a threat approaching me from my front. I have a threat approaching. I'm going to draw out and try to be ready here to receive that threat. Okay. I have a threat approaching from this direction over here. We try to draw out and receive that threat. Again, this won't be perfect. That's where the practicing comes into play. Also, if you're brand new to this weapon system, you're going to practice extremely slow and then do it over and over and over again and in one direction before trying a drill like this. I'm just giving you something to think about, something to chew on, so to speak. I have a threat coming from this direction over here. A threat from this direction over here. A threat approaching me from this rear angle right back here. A threat approaching me from this rear angle over here. And then possibly a threat approaching me from behind. So, I guess the point of this little clip would be that to make and train and to make people aware that of retention holsters and that they're very effective, they have their purpose. If I were off duty, plain clothes, concealed, I wouldn't want some of your retention devices, maybe one like the carry lock I've shown in the past. However, again, these type of holsters do have their place. Especially maybe in a crisis type situation where concealment may not be an issue and you might want to just put on a load bearing type equipment or a pistol belt. A holster like this might be something you want to consider. It all depends on again what your needs are. But I wanted to make this, again, get back to the point of this particular clip. I wanted to make people aware of this retention holster. I wanted to discuss practicing and drilling and drawing it. And again, you're going to do it in a very slow method over and over again, going through all the steps, rocking this forward, pushing the button, rocking it back, coming up, over and over and over again, maybe from more of a bladed type stance that may be more conducive to the firing range. And again, it all depends on what type of stance that you use, whether you're using a modification to the Weaver type stance, a modified Weaver type stance, a bladed stance, or you're using more of an isosceles straight on type stance. That's how you're probably going to start practicing as whatever stance is going to work for you on the range and in combat in the street is how you're going to practice drawing this in a very slow manner over and over again, approximately 3,000 times to make it muscle memory. So then the third thing was, in addition to making you wear this type of holster, speaking of drilling and drawing and practicing drawing the holster, there's a little drill of covering the 8 zones of attack when you're standing in the center. And of course I didn't cover somebody coming from overhead or upward angles. You can always expand on these ideas and concepts, but just starting somewhere, showing how to perhaps receive an attack from these 8 directional angles. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I wish you very safe and effective training. Thank you.